Welcome, everybody, to the Board of Education meeting. It is Monday, May 9th, 2022. It is 6:06 p.m. We are in the Nashua North Boardroom. Ms. Raymond, whenever you're ready, you can call roll.
Okay.
Please.
Oh, yep, okay. Ms. Darling?
Here.
Mr. Claffey?
Here.
Ms. Giglio?
Here.
I'm here. Ms. Lampier?
Here.
Ms. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Ziem is not here. Ms. Johnson?
Present.
And Ms. Bishop?
Here.
Mr. Rogers?
Here.
Mr. Sahu?
Here.
We also have Dr. Sarfty, Mr. Parker, Mr. Donovan, and Ms. Carey, and we have guests this evening, Ms. Anderson, Ms. Gingras, Mr. Smith. I think that's all of us.
They all have presentations. No, I'm just kidding. They don't.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Will you lead us in the prayer?
Oh, yeah. Almighty God, we have the high honor and the serious duty of managing the educational institutions of our beloved city. In our common endeavors, may we find a spirit of unity and understanding which will enable us to face our multiple problems with an objective mind, with justice for and charity for all, and so that any and all decisions made by us will be for the betterment and greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. And Ms. Giglio, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Happy to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So first up tonight, we have Mrs. Anderson from Sunset Heights with her presentation. Thank you very much for coming tonight. You can join us in the horseshoe.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to be super low tech and just kind of speak from the heart. So I know we all have talked about how challenging the past couple years have been and how we've really worked as a whole community to come together and do what's best for kids. And I've talked over the course of the year with staff about this presentation and what we might say. And we floated around a lot of ideas. And really just over the last couple weeks, we've talked a lot about kind of our unsung heroes in our building, and Sunset really is a family. It feels like a family. Our staff feels like family, and we decided that as teachers that we wanted to spotlight our paraeducators because this year more than ever their support and the job that they do is it really has kept our buildings running. So basically I sent out a form to my classroom teachers, specialist teachers, intensive needs teachers, and we're unique where we do have 3 intensive needs programs, and we have many, many paras in our building who do whatever we ask them to do whenever they're asked to do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and read some of the bullet points, and these are not my words, these are the words of the teachers at my school. They provide such a wonderful and needed support to students and are such an integral part of the functionality of the building. They are the true definition of team players. Thank you to our paraeducators for your continuous academic, behavioral, and emotional support for our students. The paraprofessionals at Sunset Heights are constantly being called upon to go above and beyond their job responsibility and do so with great confidence. This year, we have firsthand seeing the versatility of their skills and their dedication to our students by taking such roles as teachers, specialists, and lunch monitor for extended periods of time. We truly felt their impact this year with the stability and consistency they brought to our building, making it very clear just how grateful we are to have such an amazing group of paraprofessionals to work with, and that it would be impossible to function as a school without them. This has been a difficult year for everyone, but her kind and compassionate spirit has helped us all remain positive. She arrives every morning to accept whatever challenges the day may bring. Our paraeducators have been invaluable to the success of our school and students during the pandemic. Each day, of every year, they teach our students with compassion, kindness, and enthusiasm, and they are an integral part of our teaching and learning. This year especially, they have taken over the role, any role as necessary, and have smiled and done the very best job to care for our students and community. And it is always, and always has been and always will be for the students, and it shows in their dedication. We are so thankful that we have been able to rely on them this year. Our paraeducators have been invaluable to the success of our school and students during the pandemic. Each and every day, they teach our students with compassion, kindness, and enthusiasm, and they are an integral part of teaching and learning. This year especially, they have taken over any role necessary and have smiled and done the very best job to care for our students and community. Our paraeducators perfectly represent the way in which the Sunset Heights community supports each other like family. We are so grateful that our paras shine their sunset light each day and love and care for our students and staff. They are truly remarkable in every way. I like to call her my superhero sidekick. I can't even begin to tell you how much she helps me, not to mention every one of my students. She is the most flexible person I know. We work interchangeable parts. I couldn't do what I do without her. I have been repeatedly amazed by their professionalism, can-do attitude, loving kindness that these paraeducators share with children and staff here every day at Sunset Heights. They have constantly gone above and beyond their job descriptions and are our partner in meeting the needs of all of our students. Our students look forward to meeting and working with them in groups. They are kind and supportive, and they have become an important trusted adult for so many Sunset students. You have been the backbone of this school for so many years, especially these past 2 years. You are appreciated more than you will ever know, and thank you for all you do for our students. And I just want to thank all of our staff, but specifically in this moment, our paraeducators. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we just say thank
Any
you.
questions or comments? Yeah, I was trying to get out of here real quick. My husband's texting me, are you getting the kids or am I?
Well, thank you very much. We also love our paras, and we love to hear them highlighted. And, you know, as a Sunset Heights family member, we love you guys and have seen the great work that you guys have done. So, sorry, not everyone here is a Sunset kid, but we are family. Thank you very much for coming, Ms. Anderson.
Thank
Go
you.
get those kids.
It's okay if anyone else has anything to say, he can get them, it's fine.
Okay.
Dan, are you watching? Are you getting the kids? Good.
Thank you.
We've all played this game before.
I know, that's
A quiet
exactly what
ride
I was just
home or-
thinking. Like,
Yeah, quiet ride home or like dart out the door real quick. It's good. Yes, Mr. Claffey.
I regret to inform you that TJ's is closed on Monday, so.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
So my mama is a para, and being raised by a para is an experience. And I can say with every ounce of my past that paras love their students just as much as they love their family. And for every student that went through that school district the same time as me, y'all were my family too, and you didn't even know it because my mom, she loved them just as much. And if there's one thing that I love about Nashua more than anything, it is the heart of the para-educators we have, as well as everyone in our schools. But the paras hold a real special place in my heart because they really, truly are superheroes with hearts too big for their chests. So
sure.
Thank you for highlighting them.
For sure. Again, it was my staff's idea as well, so not just my idea. And this is 100% their words. I changed nothing, so I just took out names. But thank you so much. It was great to be here, and I'll hopefully see you guys all again soon.
Thank you. We had CTE on, but we have to reschedule them, so we will go right into the consent agenda. I would be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do we have any items that we want to add to the agenda as well? Nope. Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve it. Oh, sorry.
Oh. So I have Ms. Starling and Ms. Lampier. You second it? Okay.
oh, sorry. No
No, we
comment.
don't have to, I was just waiting for you to take the notes, to write down who did it.
Okay,
I
thank
know.
you. I'm a little out of it. I'm getting back into it. Ms. Darling?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Claffey?
Yes.
Ms. Gilio?
Yes.
Wait, what is Jimmy yelling at me?
He's, just why you're doing roll call.
Oh, I don't need a roll call.
You do not?
But I figured you,
Fantastic.
like, warm up.
No, just all in favor, say
You're our
aye.
opening act.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. So I just have to write the ends.
Ms. Brown and Ms. Johnson.
Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you all for being patient.
Okay. Do we have any I already asked that, communications. So this brings us up to our first public question and comment period. Seeing none, we can move on. Dr. McKinney is not here tonight, but I hear Mr. Parker is going to be delivering us the superintendent comments.
So I'll try and do as good a job as Dr. McKinney would do in his presentation. So, 2 items. First, we'd like to congratulate Akil Camilla, class of 2022 at Nashua High School South, who was recently named as one of 6 U.S. Presidential Scholar finalists in New Hampshire.
Oh.
The U.S. Presidential Scholars Program recognizes the most distinguished students from across the country. Akil excels academically and intends on pursuing a degree in engineering at Georgia Institute of Technology, better known as Georgia Tech, in Atlanta in the fall. You may recall Akil was acknowledged also earlier this year as a National Merit Scholarship finalist. In order to achieve these prestigious honors, Akil has been committed to a rigorous course load, which includes 15 advanced placement classes over the course of his high school career at South. In addition, he is president of both the Nashua South Science Olympiad and Science Bowl, captain of the South varsity tennis team, and mechanical captain for the robotics team. Congratulations, Akil. We are very proud of you. Next, Amy Aseo, grade 4 teacher at Charlotte Avenue Elementary School, was named the 2022 Nashua Lions Club Teacher of the Year. Ed Lecius of the Lions Club, former president and current chair of the Lions Club Program and Membership Committee, met with Amy last week to tell her the good news. The Lions Club will recognize Amy at its annual event next Monday. And Patricia Bolio and Brittany Mahaney, Charlotte Avenue Elementary principal and assistant principal, respectively, and Amy's family will be joining at the club at the event. Amy is a longtime teacher at Charlotte Avenue Elementary School and was nominated for her efforts during the pandemic to provide meaningful and caring lessons to her students. So congratulations, Amy. And last, and the Nashua School District Job Fair update. I thought I would end these comments tonight by reiterating we have job openings in many areas in our schools. Last month's job fair was a great success, welcoming 111 candidates and generating lots of traffic on the employment page on the Hiring School District website. As Dr. McKinney says, we are hiring Paris to plumbers. Job openings are posted on nashua.edu employment page as they become available. If you are a job seeker, we hope you will consider us. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's time for board member response to superintendent comments. We'll start over with Mr. Claffey. No comment? Ms. Lampier? No. Ms. Johnson? Okay. So I want to echo our students' achievements. That is fantastic. Kind of blown away. 15 AP courses. That's like next level, man. Is that what you guys do? On the spot. You do? I'm getting there. Oh, geez. You guys are like little unicorns, huh? That is amazing. I would like stand in the hallway and wave at my friends in the AP classes. Like, I'm out of here. Ms. Raymond?
Thank you. I was trying to do the math to figure out how many AP classes, like you could possibly take, and I think that's pretty close to like if you only took AP classes and nothing else ever. So congratulations to that person. Also, congratulations to the Teacher of the Year. That's perfect timing with Teacher Appreciation Week that we just had last week. So thank you to all the teachers and educators out there. I was really pleased to hear the tribute to the paras earlier this evening, too. So, and please come work for us. Thanks.
Darling?
Somebody whose greatest accomplishment in high school was to complete the Plasma Dog Challenge in Massachusetts. Go Plasma. I am so blown away constantly when I hear about the achievements our students do regularly. And this student, the fact that this is the second time now he's been mentioned here, that is amazing. Obviously, you guys are all just bred way different 20 years later.
Ms. Gilio?
Well, congratulations to the student, congratulations to the teacher, and it was very uplifting to start our meeting with Ms. Anderson's presentation and gratitude for the paras. I began my education career as a para way back when, so thank you. Yeah, come work for us, yes.
Yes, come work for us. Ms. Brown?
I want to send my congratulations out to Amy Sayo also. She's not only a great teacher, she's also a great mom and a community volunteer that I've worked with in the past. And so congratulations, Amy. And thank you to the HR department for running these job fairs. Thanks. Keep it up.
Thank you. And this brings us to the student member of the board comments.
I'll start. So, I just want to echo some of the other board member sentiments, and it was great to hear about our paras at Sunset Heights. I always have a soft spot for our para educators. I was actually raised by one from Maine Dunstable, so I love our paras. And additionally, I just want to say congrats to Akil. He's a very accomplished student. He also happens to be the valedictorian of our senior class at Nashua South, but that's amazing for him. In the news at South, we have our freshman-sophomore dance coming up on May 20th, so if you want to buy your tickets, go to student activities or the cafeteria during lunch. We also have our talent show, and we have auditions today, tomorrow, and the day after from 2:30 to 4:15. And also, just talking about how amazing South is, we do have Spring Battle of the Bridge going on, and currently, I believe it's 7-1, Ms. Gingras? Yeah, that's what I thought. So, I just want to list the names of our teams because they all deserve recognition. We have our boys JV lacrosse, girls varsity lacrosse, boys varsity lacrosse, JV baseball, varsity baseball, boys and girls tennis teams. They're all amazing. I saw Miss Brown at one of the games, and I did give her my condolences. So, and additionally, with all of the great things that our Nashua South students are accomplishing, our Technology Student Association team recently had numerous students from Nashua South qualify for the national competition in Dallas, which will be taking from May 26th to 30th. So I just wanted to name the names of those students. We have Sai Siddharth Sayadri, Karisa Q, Praditi Modetagu, Preeti Mahendra Kumar, Dia Mahavir, Shritan Gade, Kishan Angadi, Josephine Matthew, and Ditya Nagri, as well as myself. And my last reminder is that we do have a very exciting special board meeting coming up, so just stay tuned.
What's the date of that again?
Thursday, be there.
All right, last week, students, teachers, and faculty celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week. Shout out to all the teachers. We truly value all that you do for us. And last Friday was also a celebration of our food service workers. Students put up signs and wrote letters to the lunch ladies and staff alike at North. This Friday, May 13th, North is proud to host Junior Prom. Tickets are $30 all this week and will be sold during all lunches and are $35 at the door. The theme is Enchanted Forest, and students from neighboring schools are welcome, with a date from North. Next Thursday, the state registrar will be hosting a time for North seniors and juniors who will be 18 before the next voting cycle to register to vote. This student-led initiative by juniors Marty Novak, Braille Cloutier, and I is to promote the engagement of young voters in primarily local elections.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, good job. Okay. This brings us up to a summary on the Committee on Budget. We met on May 4th, and it was voted to send our proposed budget off to the aldermen, who will be reviewing the budget and giving it, yes or no, June 1st?
Well, tomorrow night, the mayor will share the budget with the Board of Aldermen, and then, so they'll be reviewing all the departments on June 20th is
Okay.
when we will submit when we will sit with the Board of Aldermen to present and answer any questions they may have.
Okay. June 20th. It is late. I think we're the last one on the list, which is why it's pushed out. Okay. Bumping over to Committee on Finance and Operations. No meeting. When's the next meeting?
The next meeting is tomorrow night at 6 o'clock in this room.
Okay. And then Committee on Policy.
Our meeting is next Tuesday at 6 o'clock in this room. We have a lot of policies to go over this month and some from last month, so everybody come prepared to work.
Hold on to your hats.
Yep.
I crack myself up. And Committee on Curriculum and Operations. Nope, Curriculum and Evaluation, sorry.
Our meeting is next Monday.
Next Monday, okay. So now we jump over to Committee on Human Resources.
I believe that we need to move to suspend the rules.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep,
So does someone have to make that motion?
you can make that.
I move that we suspend the rules.
Second.
Thank you.
Does
Do we
everyone
have any
vote on it?
discussion? No? Okay, everybody in favor of suspending the rules? Aye.
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 Any nays? No nays.
Earlier tonight, we met and we approved the personnel recommendations dated May 9th, 2022. We approved the
I think what you're looking to do is make a recommendation to,
I have to make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. I get very confused with this.
That's fine.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the personnel recommendations dated May 9th, 2022.
Second.
any discussion, questions? Ms. Johnson?
Are any of these new positions, or are they just positions that we need to fill? I was kind of trying to track this over the weekend.
They are new positions.
They are new positions. Okay, so I guess these job descriptions are brand new?
That comes next.
Wait, I'm confused.
We're not at the job descriptions yet, just the personnel recommendations,
On the
right?
personnel recommendations, yeah.
Well, don't you have to do job descriptions before you do personnel?
I don't think they're new, they're filled, they're not new positions to the district, they're just filled positions, new filled positions.
The personnel recommendations tonight did not include the positions that we're going to look at in a few minutes, the new positions.
So these are new people in existing positions that this motion covers?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sorry. I'm getting back to it, I really am. Okay, all in favor of approving the personnel recommendations dated tonight for 18/2022, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
That was,
I think
Ms.
you want-
Brown? Okay. No.
That's just the wrong date.
Oh, it does say April 18th, doesn't it? Sorry. Today is May 9th,
Yes.
2022. So, see, if I'm out for 6 weeks, I have no idea what time it is, when we are.
Well, we're glad you're back. I'm sure they're sick of me doing the notes and running the meeting.
I don't know.
Okay, I move that we approve the 2022-23 teacher and principal renomination list.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Sterling seconds.
Okay.
Any discussion or questions? Seeing none. Oh, Ms. Brown?
I had a question. Where it says status, what does AF or AP mean
Where you?
on the nomination list? There's a column
I wish I could have more than one open.
that says It's the 1, 2, 3, it's the 6th column.
It says AFAP.
Yes.
AF is active full-time, AP is active part-time.
Okay. And are all of these positions currently in the budget that we just approved? Are any of these added in?
These are current positions.
Current positions.
These are filled. Yeah. It's about 1,000 of them.
I have a question, too.
And since these are renominations, have all of these folks, I know that Dr. McKinney was being very diligent about making sure everyone had their evaluations. Have all of these renomination individuals had their evaluations as appropriate?
I believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Raymond?
Out of curiosity, does this renomination list cover every teacher and principal in the district, or are there any that are outside of this list? Like, are the Title I teachers included, or do they have their own system?
I don't believe these are the Title I.
Okay.
No.
So
And
not
if you look at the listing, it'll say
the funding
what
source?
school that they're in,
Okay,
or what their position is, rather.
okay. Thank you. I wasn't able to read the entire list this afternoon, but I skimmed it and I didn't see any Title I, so thank you.
Seeing no other questions or comments, all those in favor to approve the 2022-2023 teacher and principal renomination list, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Seeing none, motion passes.
8-0.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the 504 the job description for the 504 coordinator.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Ms. Johnson?
This is a new position? Yes. Okay, so what exactly, are they going to be working in special ed in the office? Or is they going to be teacher? No?
Do you have a copy of the job description?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So these are primarily for the high school, and the summary, the position summary, let me just grab the right one. Let's see. Okay. So the 504 coordinator is responsible for monitoring and implementing the school's compliance with state and federal laws prohibiting disability discrimination, to prevent discrimination against students on the basis of disability, and to ensure compliance with all procedures and procedural safeguards required under Section 504.
Did we not have someone in this?
We have people that have 504 coordinator as a part of their responsibility. This is a position that we're looking to fill that would be covered through grant funding.
And primarily as a case manager for each of the high schools to coordinate and make sure everything happens the way it's supposed to be, and work with counselors, teachers.
So is this person going to be shared between the two high schools? Because it just says high school, Department High School.
Right, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Brown?
How many do you intend to have of these positions?
I believe one right now. Mr. Parker, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Mike, please.
Just one right now.
Just one right now. Do you think it'll be difficult? I'm sorry, can I follow?
That's okay.
Do you think it'll be difficult to have someone doing, I mean, this seems like a pretty intense job. Do you think one will be enough to coordinate at both schools?
At the moment, we believe so. And if we have to think differently about it, we will.
Any other questions? I think it sounds like a fantastic opportunity. Ms. Lamfair?
I was just wondering, I think it's really good that you're doing this. This disability law is so complex, and it's nice to have someone doing it full-time. But because they're just focused on the high school, it made me wonder what goes on at the elementary and middle school level. Do you have someone that...
There are other people that have this responsibility as a part of their job description.
Okay. All right, that's great, thank you.
Seeing no other comments or questions, all those in favor of approving the 504 coordinator job description as presented, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, I move that we approve the job description for the freshman transition coordinator.
Second.
Comments or questions? Ms. Brown?
I got this update kind of late in the day. Could somebody give me a basic overview of what's going on, this person would do?
We wanted to double down on the experience of our incoming freshmen, someone that they could connect with, along with other people in their school lives, but who would work with them on how to problem solve, okay, how to be a student, right? Connect them with resources in the school, just an extra set of eyes and ears to be on them, and to work with their teachers, work with their parents, so that these are people that will be identified as going to have a hard time transitioning from 8th grade to 9th grade. And so we want to greet them at the door and, just envelop them with whatever they would need to help them advocate for themselves, to help them access the curriculum along with their teachers, and to work with the counselors.
Will they also be connecting with the families? I mean, I know we really try to have our students be more independent in high school, but I feel like the kiddos who are having a tough transition
Yes.
probably have families that need the TLC too.
Yes.
Perfect. Ms. Raymond?
Yes, thank you. Home visits is a part of that.
Ooh, fantastic.
Okay. So that kind of goes towards my question. Because it said a bachelor's in teaching or counseling, I was just curious what the duties, if they would skew more in the way of guidance, and is this person who reports to the guidance office, or is this person more of a teacher who would report to the principal? Because it says principal, but I'm just curious.
They report to the principal, okay, and they would work with the principal depending on the caseload, depending on the student, and whether they would skew towards more counseling or education depends on the candidate. Depends on the candidate, but they work with the principal to define with their caseloads what needs to be done. All right, so each student could be different, but hopefully this position has the flexibility to pivot and make those decisions in collaboration with the principal and the counselor.
And then the second question I had was when I read the title and some of the things that such a, like creating activities, would that be for the entire student body of incoming freshmen, or is the activities only for the caseload of students who need a little bit of extra support?
Well, I think primarily it's going to be focused on the folks who would need that support, and where appropriate, if there's something that can be opened up to everybody, they will make that decision with the principals, if that made sense. So,
Ms. Johnson?
Thank you. So this position, the person that we hire for this position, they're going to be bouncing from the two schools, like the 504 coordinator, because it says Department High School.
Each high school.
this one for each high school.
There's one for each high school. Okay, and, but the 504, we're only having one, right? The 504 coordinator, we're only having one. And what is the salary of this person for each high school? What are they starting at?
Well, the transition coordinator would be based on the teacher's contract, where they followed their skills and experience based on the grid and the teacher's contract.
Okay, so we don't know at this point what this position is going to, for two of them, what the salaries are going to be on them. So
I'm wondering, sorry.
Yep.
Go ahead, Ms. Johnson.
No, that's,
I was going to ask, I mean, this sounds like, and this is just me working in the insurance world, with an LACSW, if you have an IEP or a 504 kid who's identified as emotionally or behaviorally needing services, if they go in and work with the families, is there an opportunity to bill Medicaid for whatever units of service they're providing? But that's only if you have somebody who can, bill for services. So it wouldn't be a teacher.
I don't have an answer to that question, but I can certainly find out.
I know that's a convoluted question. That's the annoying world I live in.
Can I do a follow-up?
Who can bill? Ms. Johnson?
Don't we have the students that have 504s and IEPs, don't we bill Medicaid for a lot of that? Mr. Donovan?
Well, I'm aware of, we do that for students with IEPs. I'm
Okay.
not sure we do it with student with 504s. We certainly do it with
IEPs.
IEPs.
And can I follow up on a question? So, Mr. Donovan, where are these two positions in the budget to be salaried out?
I believe these are in the ESSER grant.
The ESSER grants?
Yes.
Okay, so when ESSER is done, we have to figure out if we're going to keep them in the budget or they're not going to stay in the budget after.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Ms. Brown?
So when I originally read this, I was actually thinking of something kind of more along the lines of what Ms. Raymond had mentioned. I thought this was more for the freshman incoming class. The 504 coordinators were maybe the people who would be helping students that had those special skills, making sure they get the supports they need. And I was under the impression that the freshman transition coordinator was more to help the class with executive functioning, and, we're running into a lot of issues. We've heard several times that the, 7th, 8th grader, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th graders are all not as mature as maybe other classes because of the time at home. I actually feel like the general student body may be left out of this opportunity with these positions if we're not looking at it with the right mindset. Am I way off base on that?
This came out of a need as folks were reentering to help them transition back to high school, and folks who might potentially have trouble doing that. I have no doubt, working in concert with the supports already in place, guidance, social workers, assistant principals and principals, all right? If there's, we're targeting some of these folks, right, who we know coming in that we want to keep eyes on. And if and when it's appropriate for them to, in collaboration, do something to support the wider class, we will do that, okay? But we were focusing on kids we know might have a difficult time, okay, and who need support, some added support. And so while it could impact all of the freshmen, there is a targeted group they'll be looking at, right? I hope that's clear. Mm-hmm. Okay. So.
Ms. Raymond, did you have your hand up?
No, I'm good on this one.
Okay.
I have a question on the next one.
Okay. Seeing no other comments or questions, all those in favor of approving the freshman transition coordinator job description as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes.
Okay, I move that we approve the job description for instructional leader.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Gilio. Thank you, Ms. Darling. Do we also want an overview on this? I know we did get this packet mistakenly late today, which happens, but. Oh, sorry. What?
Are we waiting for an overview, or can I ask my question?
Let's do an overview first.
Okay,
Maybe your question will be answered.
that would be great.
So this is also an ESSER-funded position to help the principals and assistant principals at the high schools to look at data and to offer teacher support, all right, to help with evaluations, all right, and to really work with the teachers to look at the data to see how they can better support their students in real time, right? And so they will be working with the administration, because sometimes the assistant principals, they're dealing with life that comes into the high school, and someone to support the administrators and the teachers in their instruction, their methodology, right, their practices, okay, and looking at the data to inform them. Okay, in a nutshell.
And is this another one that's grade specific, or is it throughout the district?
High school.
Just at the high school? Okay. Thank you. That was probably right in there, and I just skimmed over it. I apologize for my silly questions. Ms. Raymond?
No. I don't think that was a silly question, because it was secondary, so I wasn't sure if it was high school and middle school, or just high school. My question is, and I apologize, this reflects my lack of understanding. How is this position related to our peer coaches? What are the differences between this position and the peer coaching position? And other than the fact that this is a NASA's position and then the peer coaches are not NASA's.
The high school does not have peer coaches.
Right.
They
it's at the
don't
middle
get that
schools.
support? Yeah, because I thought that.
The high school has curriculum leads, but they do not have peer coaches.
We have curriculum coaches at the middle school.
Right, and we have the curriculum people at the elementary school who are now assistant principals, but I thought, like, Diane worked with the high school as well as the middle school, but maybe that's why I'm saying I don't understand, so.
It's similar to, but, you know, speaking of Diane and Paul, I just met with them today. They work with teachers on their certification and things like that. So could there be some collaboration? Sure, okay, but the peer coaches don't evaluate.
Got it.
Okay, they don't evaluate. They work with teachers, new teachers, teachers on whatever certification cycle they're on, okay? And they do give support to individual teachers about methodology and things like that. All right, but the instructional coach would be a step further. They actually evaluate, and they'll be looking at data. Now,
Yep, no, that sounds very different than helping teachers, maintain their certification and, get used to it and tackle individualized support that they need. This sounds very different than that, so thank you. I have a better understanding now. One or two positions?
one for each high school.
One for each high school. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Ms. Johnson?
Mr. Donovan, is this from ESSA funds too? These two positions?
Yeah, he said that he opened it up with their ESSER-funded
Yeah,
positions.
I believe so. We had one instructional leader in NASA's that was in the operating budget, but I think this is ESSER. I can verify.
They are ESSER.
Yep.
They are ESSA funds. Thank you.
Sorry, I have another kind of procedural question. So when we approve the job descriptions, does that automatically approve the hiring of the person? I mean, obviously, they still have to go through the HR committee when we do hire, but does approving the job descriptions then become tacit approval to go out and post them on the website, et cetera?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But if it's a grant-funded position, it has to get approved by the grant up at the state. So
Okay,
you can have the position, the state says no,
back to the drawing board.
drawing board, but,
Thank you, that's where I was going.
okay.
Anything else? Okay. Looking to, on the motion to approve the instructional leader job description as presented, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, I think that's it for human resources. On to liaison reports. Ms. Gilio?
I just have one comment, I guess. Many of us did not receive the full
Yes.
packet until
Yeah.
very late today. We're used to receiving it on Friday afternoons, which gives us a lot of time to explore these things. I found it very difficult to come to the meeting tonight and then have to I had to suspend our HR meeting long enough for me to have the opportunity to read through these, because I was not going to vote on them if I did not know what they were. I think that we need to kind of, whatever, I don't know why the disconnect is happening. I also think I'm tired of putting ink in my printer, and I just did it 3 weeks ago. It needs a new ink cartridge. I would like to see the possibility of our getting our packets back delivered to us on Fridays, like we did prior to COVID.
Well, I think that's why they just made this huge investment on the iPads, so that we had all the packets given to us. I think, normally we would have noticed that we didn't get it on Friday, because that's when our packet comes in. On here, it's linked to a Google Doc link. So hopefully we're not printing out anymore. You can do it on here and you can type in notes, but I think the point was to save money and trees and.
I understand that, but it still needs to be before 2 hours before the meeting.
I think for two people who hardly ever, rarely mess up, Gabby and Tara, I think that this is just like a moment of,
No,
I think we can extend them some grace.
No, I don't
just-
mean
just
to
for
not
today.
extend them grace.
Oh, I know.
It's just, it's difficult to do everything this quickly and do it well.
Yeah,
So,
understandable. Ms. Johnson?
Thank you. I don't know about the rest of you, but I got mine on Friday because I picked up my daughter picked up my packet for me, and it was stamped all confidential for HR. And I got mine on Friday because I got paper, because that's the way I needed paper versus, I didn't even want the iPad. And I got it, I don't want it, I really don't care about it. But I don't understand, and I don't go to Google Docs because I didn't even know we had Google Docs.
It's in the email, you just click on the agenda notes.
Yeah, well, I can hook up an HDMI cable and hook up all these monitors now, but I can't do that Google Doc. I can do all the technical stuff, but not that. And I understand everybody's point here. I mean, before the pandemic, we had paper. Some of us like the paper, and we should be able to have the paper, and we should be respected to have that type of packet. And we shouldn't have anything 2 hours or 1 hour or whatever before a meeting, and we shouldn't have anything brought into a meeting for us to review, because then we shouldn't have to vote on it. That should be extended to the next meeting. And it's called being respectful of all of us sitting around this horseshoe. And I have to agree with Ms. Giglio, because, but that's why myself and another member of the board asked for these minutes that aren't summary minutes, because we have something on the agenda here for later that's all motions, and I copied every motion for this past year to find out where that motion was. And that's what happens when you don't have the verbatim minutes, because you can't search and find anything, because these motions really mean nothing if it's not attached to what went on in the meeting. So I agree with my fellow board member, and she's 100% right. Thank you.
Mr. Claffey?
Yeah, I think the Friday agenda, the week ahead, typically comes out around 2:30, and I would hope that, I'm guilty, but 9 of us had a chance to let them know that that particular attachment wasn't there, and I just think it rarely happens, and you would have thought that 9 responsible people here would have brought that to their attention, that it wasn't there. And was it brought to our attention today?
I agree with you, and I almost did bring it to their attention, but all I thought that I was missing was the list of personnel recommendations, which is something that's only a page long. I had no idea that the packet was going to contain 3 brand-new job descriptions, and that's what made it difficult for me. I tend to not be a complainer.
So,
Go ahead, Ms. Ryan.
Just for reference, our policy does require that we have 3 days' notice. So if we don't have 3 days' notice of whatever it is, technically we have to, if we don't have 3 days' notice, we can choose to accept it or we can choose to push it off to the other one. And we get the 3 days because we all have jobs and lives and kids and families, and we might not look at it. Like, I like to review my materials a couple hours before the meeting, so it's fresh in my mind. Other people like to look at it right away Friday afternoon. It's individual, and that's fine. What happened tonight happened, it's like the first time in, I don't know, I've been here 5 years. This is, HR usually has an update Monday afternoon, but I've never not gotten it. So I don't have a problem with this. I did have a question, though, that made me think of it. We have our special meeting on Thursday regarding the GPA, and I don't have anything to look at for that. And I
don't think we have anything.
Very much like to, because last time I complained bitterly about not having anything to look at before. So I'm hoping that this time I have something to look at beforehand, because I don't want to make a motion to move it out. Yeah, that would be tomorrow. No, tomorrow's only 2 days.
Thursday.
I'll call on you, Mr. Sahu.
Sorry, I'm looking at something online.
Thank you. For the special meeting, there is no new material to be given. I guess the resources that the board would be working with to do their own research is the task force's recommendation at that past full board meeting a few months ago, where we decided to postpone just because we had a lot going on that night.
Yep, in January, that one. I think last time we had asked for like, I don't know, something, a PowerPoint, something that we could look at. But we'll see how it goes. It should be fun. So, thank you.
I'll take that back to Dr. McKinney.
Yeah, I would look it up in the minutes, but.
Also, I know that we're missing this portion from the packet that was delivered to us, but if you go into the Nashua School District website, if you go under our BOE meetings and minutes, if you go into HR and drop down to whatever today's date is, all of the agenda and information is there except for the confidential information. But just, I know we're all getting used to using the iPads and being less tactile. So I think there's a learning curve for everybody. But anyway, we can move on from this. Looking at the JSSBC update, Ms. Giglio.
Okay, I'll put my happy face on. We had a meeting on April 21st, and things with the new middle school are really moving forward. It was particularly interesting that the wetland scientists had made some discoveries that have changed a few things going forward with the school. There were a few areas that were thought to be vernal pools, and they turned out not to be. They're dry. And that is actually good news. So now we're awaiting a permit with that news, and then they can begin to remove some more of the trees near, I believe, and there were other wetlands areas that were near the fields that also turned out not to be wetlands. So that was good news. And they're also, the day after that meeting, they were pouring the concrete for Building C at the new high school. Pennachuck Middle School is going well. The students got a tour of the North Addition. The portable is already gone, which should have been gone. And the site will be shut, the whole site will be shut for the summer with the exception of the fields that you can get to over the bridge over the highway. The North Addition will be turned over in July. And so it seems like things are really going forward.
Excellent. Mr. Parker?
I just wanted to acknowledge Mr. Smith. He sent pictures from today of the foundation walls in the new site. So it's remarkably quick.
Yeah.
And and we can get those pictures out so others can see in newsletters and whatnot. But it was exciting. So it's happening.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We also, we created a committee for the naming of the school, coming up with the mascot, and coming up with what our team colors are going to be. We're still identifying the 5th community member, so it's myself, Ms. Raymond, Alderman Dowd, and Alderwoman Wilshire, who are on this naming committee per policy. People can weigh in on this, so feel free to email us, and then we will be meeting and coming up what the mascot is and what the colors will be as soon as possible, because our architects want to get in there and put some posters up or whatever, wallpaper.
I believe it's for furniture colors and flooring colors, because some of them have like.
And what they're going to paint on the wall,
and stuff.
There's like drop-down metal things that do stuff, and
yeah, basketball.
I like watching that stuff. I don't like doing it.
Are the salamanders in the running for the mascot? Since they had such a huge
We
part in the design of the
we can
building?
think of anything right now. We're paring down the world. We were saying salamanders, though.
I have feelings on this, but I think it would be great if people have thoughts to write why they have those thoughts.
Yeah, we'll come up with a plan during that meeting about how to incorporate in community involvement. I know we were thinking possibly, like an essay, and because it has to be somebody or something. The policy is on our website, so just look it up.
Policy
FF.
I see your salamanders, and I raise you the Nashua newts.
Oh my God.
The newts. The Nashua newts.
I wonder how, like, 8th graders would feel about.
Do not ever let me name a school, please, or come up with, no, that is not my forte.
Judging by Mr. Sahu and Mr. Rogers, who's like, I'm not engaging in this. I feel like
They know what's cool, right?
Yeah, I don't
The
support
armadillos.
Interesting.
We're going to have so much fun. Just come to the meeting. It'll be fun.
The pangolins.
I'll be there.
Okay. So that is all with the updates. We are moving on to, I don't know, this is like, when you're at a restaurant and everybody else's menu looks better than yours? I'm literally looking at the same thing Heather's looking at, but it looks better on her paper, so I just keep looking at hers.
No, I don't have that second page. I don't know why.
Just give it a minute. Okay, so we have some unfinished business, recommendations to approve the New Hampshire South Track. I'm assuming Mr. Donovan has a lot to say about this, and that's why Ms. Gindras and Mr. Smith are probably here.
Did you want someone to make the motion first or talk about it first?
We can make the motion first.
Point of order, can I ask you, was this tabled? Or is it
Was
just?
because I think we had more
Okay,
questions.
then we have to make a motion to take it off the table.
This
Wasn't
was not tabled. This
Okay.
was, we made a motion from Finance and Ops
Okay.
to bring it here for the timing, so Mr. Smith and Ms. Gingras is here and
So is this unfinished
here.
or new?
is here.
Unfinished.
Just
So-
making sure.
We could invite them down so they can speak to this? Mm-hmm. I think you'd want to hear from them before you make the motion,
Okay.
but do what you'd like.
Well, I think we have to make the motion to open up discussion on it.
Okay.
So I'd be looking for a motion to approve the NHS South Track Restoration Contract to Maine Tennis and Track of Gray, Maine, in the amount of $486,480 with a contingency amount of $13,520 for a total not to exceed $500,000, funding of $400,000 from the school district's deferred maintenance account and $100,000 from excess fiscal year '22 operating budget funds.
I'll make the motion, but, yeah, I'll just make the motion and then I'll ask my question after.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you, Ms. Darling. Okay, so now we can open this up for discussion. I love it. You guys
Now
can
we
come on
should
down.
invite our esteemed guests
Yes.
down to speak.
Yes, because you'll probably answer my question. You guys could just squish 2 chairs or 2 opposite sides.
I could sit next to 2 smart young guys.
Yeah.
I would say someone could sit next to me. I don't stink, I promise.
Which one took all the AP classes? I want to sit next to him.
It doesn't rub off, I tried.
Thank you. Okay, so Mr. Donovan, I'll turn this over to you.
And I will turn it over to Mr. Smith.
It's like volleyball. We're kind of,
Parliamentary procedure,
Yes.
which does feel like volleyball.
yes, or ping pong. So we discussed this at Finance and Operations last month, and the timing was such that we wanted to get this contract awarded before we got too far into the spring, because the potential contractors get busy and choices and the prices are going up, as you all know. So we included as part of the packet some pictures of the track. It looks something like this. hopefully you saw this. These don't really do justice to the condition of that track.
So we did not, you got it.
It's right here. It's in our packet.
I don't have it.
I don't.
Wait, so hold on. I'll just go on the internets that we have, because we have these things.
Regardless, the track is in pretty poor shape. It's been in poor shape for at least a year. It was originally built in 2004. There's already track there before that, but we added the rubber surface in 2004 when the South High School was created or recreated. And we've had to patch it and repair it numerous times since then, but now we've reached the point where that doesn't work anymore. So we worked with Harriman, our architect, for various projects to develop a specification. The Board of Ed approved that contract about a year and a half ago. We developed a spec with them. We put it out for bid and just got 2 contractors to bid on it. They happen to be the 2 contractors in New England that do this sort of work. One was Maine Tennis and Track, the other one was Cape and Island. Cape and Island, as you might imagine, is on Cape Cod. And Maine Tennis Track is in Maine, Gray, Maine specifically. We budgeted $400,000 for it, which was at the time, I thought that gave me about $50,000 of leeway. But as with everything else going on with the pandemic and supply systems, that price just shot right up. Fortunately, in our specification we sent out, we asked for various things. We originally wanted to continue with the color red. Mrs. Ingress potentially wanted purple, which you might, that goes with the South High School. But that was going to cost significantly more money. If we go with the color black, then we actually save money.
That sounds high.
To the tune of $54,500. So Maine Tennis and Track's bid was $540,980. We have like a $140,900 gap at this point. Let's say it's $54,500. We looked at deleting there's 2 long jump runways on the west side of the track. The program talked about wanting at least one of those to go in the other direction. I'm not totally sure why, except maybe the wind blows, you can jump higher and further, wind gets behind you. And so, but they did indicate, we did a walk around the track last week. You didn't get Mr. Donovan out on the track. He was not running, but he was walking very fast.
I think I ran a 100-yard dash. It was 10.8, I think.
Believe it or not, I used to run track way back when. I wasn't very good at it, though. Boy, I totally lost my thought. So the program liked the long jump. They really thought that was a good thing, if we could at all include it in the project. One of the other deducts was taking away the bond requirement, but I really suggest we not do that because that's our insurance if something goes wrong with the contractor. When this track was originally done in 2004, it was when it was completed, the original contractor went bankrupt. I won't name them, but they were in a state far south and far west of us, and we had to find another contractor. Actually, our construction manager had to find somebody else. So right in the middle of the job, they went. So that's why you carry bonds. That's exactly why you carry bonds. I don't think either one of these 2 companies would happen to them because they're too well established. There's other things we can do to reduce the price. We talked about keeping the asphalt that's underneath us intact, but that would defeat one of the purposes. We want to put a 1.5 degree pitch to the track. So you want to get as much water off the track as possible. And right now it's fairly flat. So if we want to take the existing asphalt up, grind it up, it's called reclaiming. We do it in the streets all the time, if you look what goes on in the city. And then when we reclaim it, we can pitch it. And that'll get all the water to drain to towards the infield. if we didn't do that and we just overlaid on top of the existing track, that would save us about $30,000. I don't think that's a good idea. And part of the reason why this track is deteriorating is the water just sits there. It gets underneath. As soon as you get one crack started, as soon as it rains, as soon as you hit winter, it starts freezing, then it gets worse and worse and worse. The other thing we could do potentially is a lot of tracks go with a 3/8-inch track, rubber track, and these are all little rubber granules. When you go with a red track, the top 1/8 of inch actually are red granules. The rubber is red. We could knock it from, and we've specified a 1/2 inch, so we could save an 1/8 of an inch. Again, I think that's not a good idea because it's wear and tear. And what happens to these tracks over time is just the rubber does wear away, particularly on the lanes that are used the most. So if you go out there and watch any time, everybody likes to run around the inside lane because that's the shortest distance, right? So, but these tracks are used quite a bit, not only by the athletic programs, but the community. People are out there all the time. We were just talking the other day when we were out there, and as I said, the pictures that I gave you really don't do it justice. It's reaching to the point that if it continued, we would probably shut down the track because it may be, hazardous for the public. A lot of people go out there in the dark, without a headlamp or anything else, and I think it's just a dangerous thing. So it's definitely a project we need to do. Hopefully I didn't steal too much of Lisa's thunder. I know there's some very important parts that she wanted, and maybe she can talk about them and maybe expand on the project a little bit.
Thank you, Sean. Just to explain how severe this is at this point, in 2019, that was 3 years ago, that's the last time our South track team has competed on their own track. In 2019, we had an official come down and basically tell us that our track was completely unsafe, and I think that's when Sean and I first started talking about this. I think at some point that letter made its way to Mr. Smith and may have even made its way to the board. Then obviously 2020, we had no spring season, and then last year and this year I have not allowed our students to compete on the track. They are practicing there. The kids can tell you exactly where the worst parts of the track. The pictures do not do it justice, and Mr. Donovan was out there with Mr. Smith and I last week and acknowledged that. Like the pictures, he's seen pictures, but to be out there and see how bad it is, and at this point it's really a risk factor for our students as well as our community members. So the dream was a purple track. Everything at South is purple. That's what everybody wanted, but then we found out the significant cost to that. And then last week when we were talking and looking at the quotes, the almost $55,000 deduction to go from red to black. Mrs. Bishop, I heard you say, oh, that's going to be hot. That was the first thing I did when driving away from the track is I called. One of the pages in the packet has a list from Maine Tennis and Track of other tracks that they have done that are black. And I called several of these ADs, and there really isn't a significant issue because the spring track season is so short to our student athletes anyway, and nobody, and one of the ADs specifically that I spoke to is a former track athlete and coach himself, and he says it's not that significant of a difference. I mean, whether you're on red rubber or you're on black rubber, you're still on rubber. It's still soaking it up. So that was one thing that I also had that concern is would that be a detriment to our student athletes? So that's basically it. As Mr. Smith was saying, the two long jump pits right now, they're parallel runways that go into two sand pits at the same end. And what our coaches, we involved our coaches in, what do you need? If we're gonna redo this, what needs to change? So one of the things they want is sand pits at the other end also, so that they have the option in both directions. So for practices, people who have short runs, you could potentially have 4 people practicing rather than just 2, making practice more efficient. He said it jokingly, but the wind direction does affect things. You don't really want to be running into the wind when it's blowing in your face and blowing sand in your face, things like that. A lot of times it meets...
I was dead serious.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of times it meets also, some tracks will have the sand pits only in alternate directions, but since we already have these two, we might as well keep those. But it meets, they might be running against each other, opposite. You know, if there's no wind or anything like that, the sun's not a factor. So there's a lot of variety of reasons to do that. The other major thing that we are changing is changing the direction of the high jump pit, the direction they run. Right now, for students who have long approaches on their high jump, they're actually in the middle of the lanes when they start their approach. So we're going to flip it so that if they have a longer run, they might be in the grass when they start versus in the middle of a lane, which is difficult when there's running going on at the same time as they're high jumping. So it's something that really needs to be done at this point. We need to get our kids back competing on their own campus, as well as providing a safe place for our community members to run and walk and things like that.
I just have a quick question. With the wear, I mean, this looks like a little bit more than wear and tear. Do we have any warranty for the prior track? I mean, this looks
With any construction job, typically you get a 1-year warranty for materials and labor, and that's about it. So this is a urethane track, urethane-based. What we've specified is a latex. I've been trying to glean what the difference between the two. I actually gave Lisa the list. Is that me? Or is
aliens. We just ignore them. No, it happens if
aliens? I'll step back. So you called some of the people that had these tracks. You already spoke to it a bit. The latex tracks seem to be operating fine. They're expected to last at least 8 years. So this is 2004 minus 20, 18 years.
Oh, dear.
And we've patched it quite a bit. So this is well past its service life. Well overdue. We can expect 8 good years out of it. After 8 years, we should be programming an overlay, and that's that extra 1/8 of an inch of rubber, and then you have to redo the lines at the same time, but that's much, much less expensive than what we're talking about tonight.
Ms. Gilio?
I have a question. With the track here at North, is it in great shape? How does it compare?
It's in much better shape, but it's not in great shape. But it does not have crevices. I mean, some of the cracks are a good 4 or 5 inches wide for several feet in the middle of a lane. We don't see any damage like that or deterioration like that here at North.
My concern is just that both schools have equal, have equity. And so I assume that there must be some kind of maintenance schedule that would affect, because North opened in 2004, right?
North and South opened as North and South in the 04-05 year,
Right,
but
yeah.
the building itself opened in 02, 2 years before
So
that.
the track was here from.
Correct.
So, okay.
Correct.
And
Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, we've had an overlay here at North with the rubber.
We had it redone. We had
Yeah.
it totally redone.
Yeah.
The contractor at the time, I can't talk about them too much because I'd probably be sued with libel or something. They didn't measure things properly. However, they surveyed it. The oval that you have to do was not done properly, and they missed it. So we had to come back and patch it. And the one up here, it didn't take for some reason. So we ended up taking it, I want to say 12 years ago. We took it back down all the way down to asphalt.
I think it was
And-
11 or 12, I think.
Okay, I said 12.
Yeah.
Close. So that's how old this track is up here. It's actually held up pretty well. It's a urethane track. What it is due for is an overlay. So I talked about that 1/8 inch of overspray and then redo it. And I talked to Cape and Island specializes in urethane. So hopefully I'll get a price from them and we can program that in for next year, if my deferred maintenance money's enough.
thank you. I just wanted to make sure that while we're using all our efforts to create 3 new middle schools that are going to be very much equal in terms of what they offer, I just wanted to make sure the 2 high schools would be. So thank you.
Mr. Claffey?
I had a question for Ms. Gingras. Do you foresee hosting any state finals, state meets?
So in order to be able to host the state championship track meets, we need to have lights because they occur in the afternoon and evenings because of all the timing companies, unless the state were to rotate. But traditionally, D1's track is on a Friday afternoon, evening, and night, and the Meet of Champions is also in an afternoon, evening, and night because it occurs on an SAT Saturday. So the Meet of Champions doesn't start until 2:30 in the afternoon. So we'd love to host them, but we're not able to do that at this point.
Ms. Brown?
So in regards to the color of the track, I mean, is there any, do you get any more longevity by changing the color? Like, is there less, does it deteriorate slower, besides like the actual temperature, by going with a blue or a purple or a red? Does the actual material hold up any longer by going with a different color?
I would think black is just, it's not going to change, right? Black is going to stay black, so you're not going to see a deterioration. You will see, this is lighter than when it was originally put down. I would think purple would probably be more susceptible to lightening over time.
Because they actually dye the rubber and put it in with the color, so then if you're doing any of the overlay in 5, 6, 7 years, it's not going to match completely, and then it's also going to be more expensive because it's something that's added in. So the black overlay would be less expensive, I would assume, than a colored overlay.
And I just have one more question, just, more logistics that I'm sure you've thought of. The length that you have to run for the high jump and pole vault, you said you're moving the things. Is that going to give you enough spots to set up the mats and everything at the distance you need to be?
Yes, okay. We actually, again, we involved our track coaches in the process, and right now the high jump apron is sort of like a D shape, and we're making it a little bit more rectangular, not 100% rectangular because there's a couple of storm drains in the way, but we're making it more rectangular that we would actually have the opportunity to set up 2 high jump stations in the same space, which is very helpful when they host the decathlon, heptathlon in June.
Do we have any other comments or questions? No. Okay, so going back to the motion, all those in favor of approving the Nashua High South Track Restoration Contract to Maine Tennis and Track of Gray, Maine, in the amount of $486,480 with a contingency amount of $13,520 for a total not to exceed $500,000, funding of $400,000 from the school district's deferred maintenance account and $100,000 from excess FY22 operating budget funds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have been asked to hold off on the reporting on combined classes. Dr. McKinney wants to be here to speak to it. So we will put that on for, well, if we don't have any objections, we'll put that on for the next.
I have a question here.
Yeah.
Because it says here, reporting on the combined classes, December 2021 motion.
Yep.
And this is what I was just talking about. I've gone through all the motions for December 2021.
Yep.
I don't know if it was a special Board of Ed meeting. There were 2 of them, 1 regular meeting. I didn't make any of them except for 1 regular meeting, halftime.
Yeah.
I can't find the motion on here. So how do we cross-reference this to what meeting it even was at?
I'd have to look, but Ms. Ziem had brought this up. This was about the kids in the high school being kind of put, not kind of, but being combined in the auditorium back when we had a lot of teacher call-outs. So what we were trying to do was make sure that, not make sure, but we wanted to understand more about what was going on within the schools. I mean, we have student ratios that we have to keep in order to keep them safe. So that's where the crux of the conversation was. And then Ms. C made the motion to ask for reporting on how many of those classes were combined, how many teachers we were down, and I think there was another component to why she had made the motion. So Dr. McKinney has been sending out those weekly updates on how many times the high schoolers have been put into
more congregate settings.
Okay, so if she made the motion, all motions should be,
I don't know where to find, I just remember it was a big, long discussion.
Okay.
I don't know where it is in the
Was it a
computer.
motion or just a request?
No, it was a motion.
well, if it's a motion, then it has to be in this, because these are all the motions for 2021. So I'd like to find out.
I'd have to double check.
Yeah, because I searched, I can't find it, and this is where the problem comes in. When you don't have good minutes of meetings, you can't find things, because I have, like I said, I have no clue where to go back and look at even at a meeting.
Right.
It was two special
Especially
board
when it's not in the agenda.
Exactly. So, so I'd like to get information on that.
Yeah, we can, and we're going to push off that anyway for next meeting, so we can have that full motion for you.
Do you need a motion to table it?
No, because it hasn't been brought up.
Okay.
So that is, we also have a non-public. However, if we have no objection, I'll push that to the end so that we can go with the new business and then dismiss people that we don't need for the non-public and let them have their lives for the evening. Do I have any objection to that?
No.
Okay. So I'd be looking at moving into new business. I was hoping administration could speak to the MOU from the teachers' union. No? Okay.
I can speak to it, I guess, if no one else is. Okay, so
Thank you,
this,
Mr. Donovan.
this is an MOU between the NTU, the four groups within the NTU and the Nashua Board of Education. It basically revolves around adding the changes that we're making to the professional development days. We're getting rid of the half-days, and we're basically adding one new day, which will be September 13th, 2022, and this speaks to all the specifics surrounding making that change.
Okay.
And I believe, Diane, this is a one-year MOU, and so assuming things go well next year and the 3 full days of PD versus the half-days is the way we'd like to go in the future, then there'll probably be more attached to that.
Okay. Do I have any questions or comments?
I'm just pleased that we were able to come to an agreement with them because this is something we have to do for our regional CTEs. So this just makes everything, I think.
Flow.
Yes. And it will, of course, affect the para negotiation. The para contract will have to be adjusted as well, correct? Because they have the half-days.
Yeah, I mean, this basically says that they'll have PD that day, same with food service. So all the groups will still work that day, but it'll be a PD for everybody, not just teachers or paras or.
Okay, great.
Okay. So I would be looking for a motion to, I did that backwards compared to the Trek one, I apologize. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve the MOU with NTU in regards to professional development and in-service days.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Gilio. Second. Ms. Darling seconds. Okay, all those in favor to approve the Memorandum of Understanding with National Teachers Union for Professional Development in Service Day, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, so now we have the fun extra paperwork. I would be looking for a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A32B.
I have a question. Sorry, I have a question. I see that we have no one here for public comments. Are we going to come back out of that non-public and do board member comments, or ought we do that now and then end our meeting in non-public? Or do you expect to have a motion after non-public?
No, I mean, we may have a vote, depending on how the conversation goes, we may have a vote, but it doesn't necessarily need to be, depending on how the conversation goes, but I don't want to make Jimmy wait here for however long it takes us to talk about this stuff. But we can do board member comments now.
I don't actually have a comment, I was just wondering.
Okay. So let's, before we go into the non-public, let's just scoot around, do board member comments, and then, yeah, because I'm thinking, yeah, I think I'm right. I know I'm right. We won't be making, I don't think, anything but adjourning after our non-public.
Okay.
So, board member comments, I'll start on this side this time, Ms. Brown. Sorry, I recognize I caught you totally off guard.
No comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gilio?
No.
Ms. Darling?
No comment.
Ms. Raymond?
I lied, I have one. Sorry, Soul Sisters, Soul Sisters Meal Prep. They have a food truck too, I think now. Anyways, they do meals for kids in their families in the summer, and they are currently taking donations. You can donate on their website, and then if you're interested in getting involved in their meal program, I would go on their website for that too. I just wanted to highlight that because we have they're one of several programs in the city. We're coming towards the end of the school year, and there are several programs to make sure our kids don't go hungry once they're not getting their free breakfast and lunch in school. So,
Ms. Darling?
Just real quick to add on what Ms. Raymond was saying, I actually had reached out to them this morning and discovered it can cost anywhere between $200 and $300 per day that they do their Feed the Kids program in the summer. And as a person that lives at Marshall Street, I know my family has benefited from it. So it's a really amazing program. I don't know how she does it.
no, I don't either, and it's delicious.
It is so good.
They have the best food. So anyways, they're looking for donations right now. I don't know. I'll update everyone as soon as I find out about the New Hampshire Healthy Meals for Kids and the other programs as well. So,
Ms. Johnson? No comment? Ms. Lampier?
No comment.
Okay, and Mr. Claffey?
You all hoping, I just want to say, I hope the mothers in the room had a great day yesterday.
Oh, thank you. My kids forgot.
I thought it was next week.
So I kidnapped them and put them in my car and made them do whatever I wanted. And when they complained, I said, maybe you should have thought about that. It's fine. I'm not angry. They're doing the dishes tonight. Okay. So I have no comments, just congratulations to those students. And Amy, what was her last name? Sayo from Charlotte Ave. Congratulations. And we will be back on the 23rd for the next big board meeting, and we have our GPA and Class Rank Task Force meeting on the 12th. So I would be now looking for a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A32B.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Johnson and Ms. Gilio, thank you. All those in favor of going into non-public, say aye.
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 I'm sorry, it's required to be roll call now.
Oh, okay.
This is why we need the paper. You should have seen me last week. I was fantastic, Heather. I made no mistakes, and it was perfect.
Wonderful job. All right, so the motion was made at 7:34 PM under B. Okay, so I apologize, everybody. We have this form that was new with this last legislative session, and it's different. So here we go. On the motion to enter non-public under RSA 91A32B, Ms. Darling?
Yes.
Mr. Claffey?
Yes?
Ms. Gilio?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Ms. Lampier?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Seem is not here. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
And Ms. Bishop?
Yes.
Okay, so we are in non-public as of 7:35 PM.